In Joshua chapter 10, 5 kings are going against Joshua and the Israelites because they made a treaty with Gibeon, and the 5 kings wanted Gibeon back. But the Lord gave them a promise, he said, I'm going to be with you, you don't need to be afraid of them, and not one of them will be able to stand against you. And so now we get to see how that happened. It's fascinating how it happened. First of all, Joshua and his men, they march all through the night because they want to surprise them. And so they're tired, and maybe understanding that they're tired, when they arrive, God, it says, threw the enemies into confusion. However he did that, whatever that meant, they were just, we don't know, they were confused. God made it happen. They were absolutely confused, didn't know which way was up and what's coming from which direction and whatever else. So they were thrown into confusion. They still needed some time to take down the enemies. And so Joshua prayed that the sun would stand still so that they would have more daylight to work with. And God made the sun stand still. For an entire day, the sun just did not set. They got extra daylight so that they could have extra time to work with, and they used it really, really well. And then, while the enemy was running away, God did one more thing. The Bible tells us he sent hailstones down from heaven, and he started picking off the enemies for Joshua and the Israelites. So much so that the Bible tells us that more of the enemies were taken down by those hailstones from God than were taken down by Joshua and the Israelites. So God throws them into confusion. God makes the sun stand still, and God throws hail down from heaven with exact precision. That's a pretty remarkable God. And it's good to remember that we have a remarkable God who can just throw people into confusion whenever he feels like it, who can make the sun stand still, who can throw hailstones down. And this isn't the only place in the Bible, of course, where God shows his complete control over the elements, over the weather. In the book of Job, we're reminded that God has complete control over the thunder and the lightning and the winds and all the seasons. Jesus, during his ministry, he calmed the storm. He just told the winds to stop, and they had to listen, because whatever God is pleased to do with anything, that is what he does, and that is what happens. And that's really good to keep in mind when Jesus says something to you. In Luke chapter 12, he says, "Do not be afraid, my little flock, for my Father is pleased." Do you know what comes next? My Father is pleased to give you his entire kingdom. Whatever God is pleased to do, that's what he does. And that's what happens. So don't be afraid. God's entire kingdom is your possession. He has no intention of letting that not happen. Don't be afraid, little flock. God is yours, and you are his. Rest well tonight, my friends.